Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing really well. So today I have a haul for you. So not just a book haul, it is a book and Halloween haul all smashed into one. So I have hauled some books over the last little while. Like I've said before, the book buying has been kind of on the down low a little bit because I've been doing some renovations with my house and buying some antique furniture and this and that. So when I get a chance to go out, I might pick up one or two. So definitely nowhere near the size of haul you're used to seeing. But I do have a couple of books that I wanted to share. Matthew and I did some Halloween hunting this weekend, and there were some thrift stores in the vicinities of where we were shopping. I hope you guys all had a fantastic Labor Day weekend. We're into September now when this is being posted. So I did go on my annual pilgrimage to Spirit Halloween, and I have some goodies from there as well, plus one other Halloween store that I didn't even know existed. So I will tell you the story of that as well. I've got my camera a little bit further away from me today. Let me know what you think of this angle, if everything is okay, if I look too small. Maybe I'll lower it just a little bit. But we're going to get into the books first because of course this is first and foremost a booktube channel, and I want to get them de-stickered tonight while we're watching a movie, and then we'll get into the Spirit Halloween haul as well. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. Sorry, whenever I move my tripod and then I bring it back into position, like I'm always playing around with it. So first, in an adult horror book. So this is called The Basement by Barry Wood, and I believe this is from the 90s. Let me just double check. Yeah, copyright 1995. And this looked so good. Now, first what drew me in, I've never heard of this book before. First what drew me in was this kind of just lone candle on the front, and of course it has to do with a creepy basement, which is fantastic, right up my alley. So I'll just read a little bit of the synopsis for you. It says, Myra pushed the door again, but it was stuck solid. She heard a soft, sly sound below her in the basement. It was a half scrape, half tinkle, unlike anything she'd ever heard before. But she knew what it was, knew the sound as surely as the thud of her own heart. It was the sound of bone on tile. And so this is the story of a woman who moves into her house and they're renovating it. The only place that hasn't been renovated is the basement. And she finds out that a woman named Goody Redmond was hanged for witchcraft in the 17th century and buried on her land. So it has like horror, occult, witchcraft, Salem witch trials sort of thing, a spooky basement, haunted house vibe. It sounds like it has all the things that I would absolutely love. So I went ahead and grabbed this one. I'm always excited when I find stuff that like just ticks all the boxes for me. Sorry, I had to do a little bit of reorganizing there. These weren't organized at all. Matthew went up to take a nap. It's holiday Monday today, and I had no intentions of filming today, and then just decided to hop on and get ahead of my schedule. So in the movie and show novelizations, I did find several out of the collections that I already have, which I'm super excited, especially for this one. So I do have another Charmed to put on the shelf. And I actually am right now filming a shelf tour of the movie and show novelization, so that will be coming probably in the next week or so. So this is called High Spirits. And this is towards the end of the show because they have Rose McGowan in here. It says, a good old-fashioned Hollywood haunting. So this sounds really good. And you know, I'm going to be doing a witches kind of theme coming up here, and I think I might throw Charmed back on. I did start a rewatch probably a year and a half ago, and then it just kind of fell off with everything else we were watching, so I think I want to get back to that. Then I do have 2/3, and I'll explain myself, out of the Sabrina series. So we have this one, A Dog's Life, and if you haven't been on the channel for very long, there's a whole thing with Sabrina books. There's a whole thing with Sabrina books because I was complaining that they were really hard to find in the wild, and now when I go out, like, I find Sabrina books almost every single time. Then we have this one, Bridal Bedlam, with Sabrina and her two aunts on there. And this one, so in my last haul, you'll remember that I showed this book, Halloween Havoc, which, I mean, could we get any more perfect for this time of year? So I already bought this book, but it was in really bad condition. I forgot to grab it off the shelf. Like, it was all dog-eared and it was like water damaged and stuff, but I bought it anyway because you know, especially for ones like this, sometimes it's hard to see them ever again. And I mean, I'm paying like $1.79 for these books. So it was nothing to me that I can just take that one off, either redonate it or give it to somebody else for their collection who doesn't mind having damage. And I do have this very pristine looking copy. This was $1.99. So really good looking. It does have a couple of spine creases, but that's it. It is far better condition than the one that I got. And then out of the Lizzie McGuire series, I have Mirror Mirror. So you guys know that I started my Lizzie McGuire novelization earlier this year. It was one of my favorite shows, like when I was younger. Came out kind of like when I was in my early 20s. So love that show. And then one movie novelization. I do have the novelization of Beethoven's Second. I remember seeing the Beethoven movies very vividly when I was a child. Especially the first one is definitely one of my favorites. I do remember the first time I saw it. Oh, do we have a treasure? Oh no, it's just part of my receipt. I do really love this series. The first two, the rest of them not so much, but the first two were really good. And it does have the movie stills on the inside of the book, and this is in really good condition as well. I believe I paid $1.79 or $1.99 for that one. So that's it for the movie and show shelf. So because I haven't completely filmed my movie shelf yet, I only did kind of one layer because I double layer my books. So I'll have those added in before I film the second portion of that video. And then in other series I collect, I did find some Sweet Valley. One of the thrift stores actually had a lot of Sweet Valley that were in like pristine condition, which was fantastic. But of course I brought my bookshelf app with me and I just picked up the ones that I didn't have. I did end up, I think, with one duplicate that for some reason it wasn't showing up when I was searching. But I do have some new Sweet Valley to add to the collection. So we do have number 17, Love Letters, number 40, On the Edge, and number 58, Broken Hearted. So going to get those destickered and up on the shelf. I have to see, I can't remember how many Sweet Valley is in the original series, like not the spin-offs, but just the Sweet Valley High series. I need to see how many more I have to collect, because it seems like every time I'm out I find Sweet Valley and I'm like nowhere near being finished that collection. So I'll have to see. I did find one in the Med Center series. This is Flood by Diane Ho. So I think I have two others in the Med Center series, so was super excited to find this. There's just a couple of pages that are dog-eared here, but it's not in too bad condition. There is a crease along the front, but this is one series that is super hard to find. I've found one in the wild and the other one that I got like off eBay or Etsy. Out of the Left Behind the Kids series, so this is kind of like a Christian sci-fi series, and I remember going to the thrift store and they had like almost the whole collection available, but it wasn't in the budget that day, and when I went back when I did have budget, it was gone. So that's unfortunate, but I'm not willing to go into debt over books, obviously. So this is number 10 on the run, and I haven't actually read any in this series yet, but I love the covers, just the black with the purple. So we'll have to jump into this one at some point. And then I found 3 point books. So this one is actually a novelization as well. This is called Sing, a novelization by A.L. Singer based on the motion picture screenplay written by Dean Pitchford. And I didn't know this. I'm gonna have to check out the movie and see if I can find it. Point actually does a lot of movie novelizations. I have Arachnophobia. And they did the Superman novelizations, they've done Karate Kid, so I have those on my shelf as well. So this one is going to have to go actually on my movie and show novelization shelf. And then this one, it says, A Semester in the Life of a Garbage Bag. Some People Have All the Luck. Raymond Jourdain Didn't Have Any by Gordon Corman. That name sounds familiar, I'm not sure why. So this is like a contemporary kind of book, and he looks very much like a greaser as well. And it says it's not easy being an 11th grade garbage bag. So like high school kind of drama. And then we have this one, So this actually looks very much like a Lorleen McDaniel book, but it's called Acts of Love by Maureen Daly, author of 17th Summer. There was her family, her home, and now a love like nothing she had ever known. So one for the romance shelf. So very much has this forlorn looking girl here. And then I do have a bunch in my recollection of the Creepover series. So let me just do a little bit of organization here. So we have number 5. This is Something Out There. I have read this one. You guys know I love the Creepover series, and actually Zach from Shady Side Library loves the Creepover series as well, and he has way more than I do, and he's read most of them, if not all of them. I love these books. They are super creepy, and not all of them have like happy endings. Like some of them are really sinister, and they do have the creepometer on the back. So if you have baby bats at home and you're looking for some reads for spooky season, it does have the creepometer. So this is a number 4. So this is getting into quite a creepy level, and it's very spooky, and it has to do with like camping and stuff. So very, very cool. I have a couple that are doll themed, which I thought was fun. So this is Creepover number 6. I've read the first 5, so this will be the next one. Best Friends Forever. And it has these creepy dolls on the front. I love creepy doll horror, like love it. It's one of my favorite subgenres. And this one is just getting up into the number 5 of being creepy. Then we have, this is number 11, Don't Drink the Punch. I'm wondering if this has to do with a Halloween party or if it's just a party. And this one is number 4 on the creepometer. I always find it super hard to read the synopses because it's like red on black text, and I need to get new glasses. Like I haven't had new glasses now for several years, so I need to get new ones for sure. I'm due. So that one sounds good. And then this one, another creepy doll one. So this is number 12, and all of these are in really good condition. I was so super excited to find them in such good condition. This one is, like I said, number 12, What a Doll. So it looks like the girl in the back has kind of like a voodoo doll going on here. And this one's not so creepy. This is number 3 on the creepometer. So 4 to go in my Creepover series, so super excited for that. I did have like a whole slew of them, and then like they're not vintage, and normally the only physical books I'm keeping are vintage books. But it's such a fantastic series, and I love it to death. And number 1, because I love it so dearly, and number 2, because it really does have that vintage middle grade series sort of vibe. I went ahead and started recollecting them, and I'm gonna have a dedicated shelf for Creepover because I just adore these books so much. And then last 2, I did read this book last year. So it's a Betty Wren Wright. It's not in great condition. It's, you know, it's pretty ratty looking, but I haven't seen this one out in the wild. So this is The Dollhouse Murders. And it does have the classic Apple paperback like spike here with the apple, and I always say that this frame, whenever I see one of these frames, it reminds me so much of my elementary school library. And so like I said, I did read this one last year, but this one has the actual vintage cover on it, and this is a creepy book. Like I was surprised that they had this in a children's book, I have to say. It's super creepy. I would totally recommend, if you're looking for that kind of really spooky middle grade sort of story, or if you have kids that are old enough to handle, you know, a little bit of creepiness, I would definitely recommend this one. And of course, Betty Wren Wright is the queen of sort of spooky middle grade haunted house stories. And then this one was the most exciting find of all. For my Ghost House series, you guys know how excited I get for ghosty books in general that I don't have, but specifically ones out of the Ghost House series, because I have so many of them, so I just keep seeing the same ones. But I actually landed on this one at my local thrift store, and I've never ever seen it before. So this is number 12, Haunted Christmas Ghost Stories. So perfect timing for the upcoming holiday season. I will probably be picking this one up for Yuletide. Okay, so we have a treasure. You know, this is kind of problematic. So it says, a new and permanent high school nightclub. Afterlife, Calgary's only high school nightlife. 2-day grand opening. says December 16th and 17th, but it doesn't have a year. So it's like all of their information and stuff, but like, I don't know. This picture is just, it doesn't fit the high school vibe that I think of, but that's just me. So anyway, treasure in the ghosty book. I actually did find in a ghosty book one time, I believe it was in the Ghost House series, and it was old family photos that were like super faded and stuff, super spooky. I still have them, of course. So one out of the Ghost House series, I actually did see this this specific book a second time when I went out to the thrift store the next time, and I was like, oh, now of course I'm seeing this one everywhere. But I'm super excited about this one. There is another one, actually. It has a red cover, and it's like Christmas ghost stories, but this is haunted Christmas ghost stories, so two different ones. So I'm super excited to get this one up on the ghosty shelf. Okay, so that's enough with the book business. Let's talk about Halloween. So usually when like every year, you know, I usually pick up some decorations for the house. Obviously, I haven't gotten any decorations this year, like I said, because I'm painting and getting furniture and all of that kind of thing. But I also always, when I go to Spirit Halloween, I go specifically for their cotton horror t-shirts. So I usually get at least two. I usually get two short sleeve, and I really love their long sleeve t-shirts. I have a Camp Crystal Lake one, and I have a Creep Show one. And I promised myself this year that I would not get anything Scream themed or Ghostface themed. And I was not successful. I was completely unsuccessful, actually. So my local Spirit Halloween here in my community actually has a really small inventory of horror t-shirts, so I'm going to be going to another one in the city probably next weekend to see if I can find any more. So I was in some kind of mood when I was at Spirit this year, and we all know kind of the pink sort of girly Halloween is very in this year. Typically for like decorations and sparkly things and everything is not really my jam, but the pink and purple that they chose for Spirit Halloween is something that I really loved, and I got several things that you're gonna think is not within my style at all. Like I said, I was in some kind of mood, and also everything is comfy. I wanted comfies. I wanted things to wear when we're snuggled up at home building Lego or cuddling and watching horror movies. And I love spooky PJs. So I definitely went ham on all of that. So I'm going to jump into it right now. So the first thing I got, this is actually the first time I've gotten any of their spooky pillows, but I love Death's Head moths. So I went ahead and got this one, and it's super plushy. It's like really plushy. And the only stuffies that I have that are horror themed are ones that I kind of won at a carnival. And so I wanted to add to that, because when we're snuggling on the couch and watching horror movies, I love to have something to hug into. So I went ahead and got that, but I love this pink color. Absolutely love it. And I actually want to get some Death's Head moths tattooed. I would like to get them on my wrists. I don't have much space there, but I do have a little bit. So I absolutely love this motif, so I was super excited for that. The other thing that I usually get every single year is a new spooky blanket. And again, I said I was not going to get anything Scream themed, but I got a new Ghostface blanket because I thought it was so cute. And I was kind of torn between this one or I think it was a Corpse Bride they had there that was super cute. Now I'm gonna see if I can insert some B-roll here so you can actually see this. But so it's pink and purple, which purple, you know, is my favorite color, and I love this kind of magenta pink. I don't like baby pink, which a lot of the Halloween stuff, like at Michael's and a couple of the other stores, HomeSense and Winners and stuff like that, they're very sparkly and very baby pink. So I love magenta. My hair was this color actually for years, on and off, and before my hair actually started falling out. But I absolutely love this, and it has a very Mean Girls kind of theme, and it just says "Call Me" and it's Ghostface. And this one is actually, I think it's more soft. I think their blankets have gotten softer than the one that I have, but then again, I haven't washed this yet. My other one is 3 or 4 years old and has been through the wash like a million times. So I was really happy to get another one. And like I said, spooky blankets, definitely try to get one every single year. And then last year I got the limited edition Bloody Disgusting of the original Scream. Now I didn't like the color of it last year. I actually have to tone it down like with a zip hoodie or like a long sleeve black t-shirt because I'm very, very pale. Like I'm almost translucent, and that cream color really doesn't go with my complexion, but I just love the motif on it. I love that it's Scream. I love that it's Bloody Disgusting. But they did have a different one this year. So I think there was Scream, Terrifier, and I can't remember. I think there was a third one as well. Terrifier is not my thing. It's just no. But Scream, of course, is totally my jam. So I did go ahead and get this one, and it also has this, so it has the original like movie cover on it, and it says, do you like scary movies, with Bloody Disgusting on the bottom. And it does have kind of a really cool back on it as well. It says, what's your favorite scary movie? And it's kind of like this spray paint kind of stuff, and I love, again, it's like the magenta kind of pink. And I got this oversized. I have lost a bunch of weight, so I'm down kind of, you know, into the XL. Some things like my dresses and stuff, I still do wear a 2XL, but when it comes to t-shirts and stuff, I'm down into an XL. But I actually got a 2XL in the clothing that I bought because I love when it's baggy. And this wouldn't just be jammies for me. Obviously I would wear it out as well, but I love that Bloody Disgusting did black this year instead of that cream color. And then for the long sleeve that I got, now I did end up with another Creepshow long sleeve. The one that I got last year, I believe it was last year, with the pink, is also a Creepshow, but they didn't have any other long sleeve ones there that I could have a choice. So I did go ahead and get another Creepshow long sleeve. It is glow in the dark as well, but this one is also kind of this green blue, and it is just one-sided. So it has these skulls that are kind of melty looking, and some headstones and stuff, and he is holding onto an original Creepshow comic, and it does have the motifs down the arms as well, which is something that I absolutely love. Like even when I was a kid, you know, you would get stuff that was just on the front, but I love when it goes down the arms. And Spirit's long sleeves, I find they're super soft and they're super comfy. And I also did get this one in a 2XL. Like I said, I usually typically just get an XL, but I wanted these to be oversized and super comfy. I'm just all about the comfort. The older I get, I want to stay home and watch spooky movies. You know, we are going to be going to some events this year, but I really dialed it back. I really dialed it back because anytime we're out and it's so crowded, and kids and families and all of that, so, and it's expensive, obviously, and in Calgary we usually do have snow in October. It's typically very chilly. Last year we had a really nice fall, but if it's super cold and it's snowing and you already have tickets and you don't want to waste the money or whatever, so I booked only 2 events this year, and the rest of it is going to be home and snuggling and watching all of the Halloween movies. So, and we are doing a theme this year. I won't tell you what it is yet because I want to do a whole video on it. But anyway, getting back to these Spirit t-shirts, so excited to get a long sleeve. And when I do go to one of the bigger ones in big city, I will probably get another one. You know, Matthew always gives me such a hard time because I own so much clothing. Like I have my traditional goth clothes, I have my rockabilly clothes, I have my horror themed t-shirts, I have workout clothing, then I have my work clothes. And so I've pretty much taken over the entire house with my wardrobe. He's like, yeah, because you most definitely needed more clothing, but he completely understands, and we just kind of joke about it. So more horror t-shirts to add to the collection. So I really did like the jerseys, the hockey jerseys that Spirit had out a couple of years ago. I do have a Ghostface one. If you can't tell, Ghostface is my favorite slasher villain. But this year I got a hoodie instead of a jersey. I actually didn't see any jerseys there this year. It might just have been at that one location, so I will keep an eye out. But I did get a hoodie that, like I said, I was in some kind of mood and is totally outside of what you would think I would buy. So it's this hoodie, and also it is very oversized. This is an XL, but when I looked at it, it was like huge. Oh, and Spirit does have like Oodies this year, so like flannel Oodies with different slasher villains on them. So this is a Ouija themed one, and I love anything with Ouija boards. Now this does have that very girly pink purpley blue kind of thing going on, but because it's Ouija, and I just loved the motif on the front of this, and this is not something I would wear out. Absolutely not something I would wear out unless I was just running out to grab something. This is totally like PJs for me. I do show my girly side sometimes when I'm at home. So it does have the moon and the sun, and then, you know, the Ouija board with the planchette and the hands and everything. But what I really loved, okay, so it's super cozy. I wore this the other night. Super, super cozy. It's oversized. And the hood is lined with like this silk or satin. And it has little planchettes in it with the moon and the sun and everything. And it is so super cute. I don't know why I fell in love with this hoodie, but I did, and I went ahead and got it. So we have a ton of jammies. Actually, there's one more set of jammies that I wanted to show you. I did get a set of the pajama pants that they have this year. Now, Spirit has had PJs for the last couple of years. I have 3 sets of Spirit PJs. I have pumpkin ones, I have a trick or treat one, and I have a Universal Monsters one. But this year I just went for the pajama pants, and they're absolutely fantastic. I heard that they're so comfy and so soft, but I wasn't expecting them to be at this level. So keeping with our ghost face theme, I do have ghost face pajama pants. So like I said, so they're purple and blue, which, like you guys know, purple is my favorite color. And of course I had to go with ghost face. But let me tell you, these are an XL. For some reason they don't have a 2XL, which is weird because they seem to make 2XL in a lot of other things, but they didn't have them in the pants. But these are super, super stretchy, and they're kind of largely made. So if you are a 2XL, I would recommend at least trying the XL, because these are really comfy. They're not snug at all. They don't come up in the crotch area or anything. I absolutely love these. They're so soft. So they're flowy and kind of light, but they're soft as well. And I love these. They're really well made. They're super, super stretchy. And I fell in love with these. Like when we go into one of the big ones in the city, I'm definitely getting at least one more pair of these because I'm going to be wearing them all winter for sure. And then so yesterday when we were thrifting, Matthew and I were going to see if we could find a Spirit Halloween in the area that we were in, so I could go get some more pajama pants and stuff. But unfortunately, like when we looked on Google, it says it was temporarily closed, and on maps it said it was open. So we were driving towards this one area where we thought there would be one. And I wasn't really paying attention, and I was kind of playing around with our playlist because we usually listen to music, of course, when we go shopping and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, what's that?" And I looked up, and there was a huge store that was called Halloween Alley. And I was like, "What?" And I was like, this is not a drill. Go. And he was like, "Okay," like just he was trying to get across a couple of lanes of traffic, and we made it in there. And I absolutely had no idea this place even existed. It's a Canadian company, and I was like, "You guys are so cute," like, you know, competing with the big guys. I was talking to the girl at the checkout. It made me so super excited. It was mostly costumes, but they did have a lot of other things too. They had some clothing, some attire, and she was like, "Yeah, we now have 13 locations across the city," which is fantastic. And I just love that it was a Canadian company. You know, it wasn't like they didn't have the same stuff as Spirit. They had some of the same stuff, obviously, when it came to costumes, but they had a completely different line of clothing. And there's a couple of other things that I want as well, but I went ahead with this one because it's a Canadian company, and it's actually very, very well made. It's a little bit more on the pricey side. So I did go ahead and get this hoodie. It has John Carpenter's Halloween on the front, so nothing special about the front except for it says Halloween. But on the back, I love the back. It has Michael Myers, of course, and it just says John Carpenter's Halloween on the back as well. But it has the, you know, the jack-o'-lantern. He's just kind of in silhouette, and I just absolutely love it. And even though it is an XL, you can usually tell when the XLs are a little bit small, but this is actually like an XL. Like I always struggle with clothing because I buy something that's an extra large and it's made like a large or a medium. It drives me nuts. But this is actually oversized. It's baggy. It's so comfy. And this is definitely something I would wear around the house to build Lego or watch our spooky movies or whatever. But I would definitely wear this outside as well. I have, you know, throw it on with a pair of jeans and a pair of high boots, and I'm ready to go. So I was so super excited to discover Halloween Alley. So my first ever time in there, and I had so much fun. And there's a few other t-shirts and hoodies that I really like. I don't know if I'm gonna get more or not. As Matthew says, I don't need more clothing, but I just have such a love for horror themed t-shirts, and especially in the winter time, you know, you're always wearing them under hoodies and stuff. So that is it for everything that I got so far. I haven't gotten any mugs this year. There were a couple at Spirit that I kind of liked. I didn't really go for it. I'm still thinking about it. But I got my horror t-shirts, I got my new spooky blanket, I got a pillow, I got some hoodies, you know, all the comfy things. So this year is going to be a little bit more subdued. You know, I'm still recovering from my abdominal surgery. There's lots of things we want to do with the house. So like I said, there's going to be a couple of spooky events that we're doing this year, but not a whole lot because we want to concentrate on the house. So I got lots of comfies to wear, and like I said, check out the pajama pants from Spirit because they're just over the top this year. So there you guys go. That's everything I wanted to show you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a question or a comment down below because you know I'm chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky, everybody. Bye.